Hello everyone and welcome back to another one of these screencasts. This one's on probability, and actually we're looking at the probability of something not happening. Up to this point we've looked at the probability of certain things happening. So this is a little bit different, but hopefully you'll find it nice and accessible and relatively easy. So we've gone through this a number of times. What is probability? It is how likely it is that an event will take place or happen. So we look at that as percentages, in decimal form, in fraction, and in words. And today, we're actually going to combine the percentages and the decimals together. So here are some examples. All of these questions taken from Corbett Maths. Highly recommend going over there and looking at that website. It's absolutely fantastic. So Leon throws a biased coin. So a biased coin means that it's more likely to land on one side than the other. Again, up to this point, we've always looked at fair coins. This one is slightly weighted or something like that, hence why it's not 50-50. The probability of getting a tails is 0.4. Work out the probability of getting a heads. So basically what this is asking of us is that 40% of the time we will get a tails, because 0.4 as a percentage is 40%. So we're going to flip the heads and the coin, and we know 100% of the time that we will get either a head or a tail, and we also know that 0.4 of a time, or 40% of the time, we will get tails. So we need to have an understanding that 100% as a decimal is actually equaling 1. So all we do for this is we take our 1 and we would subtract away from 1 0.4, and that will give us 0.6 or 60%. So we know that 40% of the time we'll flip a tail, so 60% of the time we'll flip a head. And it is as simple as that. We're trying to find out the difference between this and 1 each time. Alright, so with that knowledge, have a go at this one yourself. Alright, Edith plants a daffodil bulb. The probability that the bulb will grow is 0.8. Okay, what is the probability that the bulb will not grow? So remember that 100% equals 1 as decimal form. Away you go. All right, everyone, let's have a little look. So hopefully what you did is you got your 1, you subtracted away from 1.8, and that gave you 0.2. Now remember, 0.8 is 80%. So if 80% of the time the bulb will grow, 20% of the time, or 0.2, the bulb will not grow. If you don't know what a bulb is basically a seed. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the picture here. That's a vicious picture of football. Such a vicious game. We've got Whitcomb Wanderers play a football match. The probability that they will win the match is 0.28, which is 28%. The probability that they'll draw the match is 0.55, which is 55%. Work out the probability that they will lose. So give this a go yourself. Think about it logically. What would you do first? Because with football we can win, lose, or draw. But we're asking, we just want to know, what about the losing? How often will they lose? So give it a go. Come back and see if you've got it correct. So hopefully you added your 0.28 or your 28% to your 55%, okay, or your 0.28 and your 0.55 together, and then took that away from 1, right? So we've got 28, 0.28 and 55 or 0.55, and that together gives us 0.83 or 83, and that's 83%. We take that away from 100% or 1, and we end up with the figure of 0.17 or 17%. So the next one's going to be very, very similar to this, just in a slightly different format, but you definitely need to give this one a go because it's very, very similar to the quiz questions. So pause the video now, give it a go, come back and see if you've got it right. So the first bit was slightly easier than the second bit because all we're doing is we've got all these counters in a bag. How many are yellow is the first bit. We add all these together, so 0.5, 0.1, 0.2. We add them together and we end up with a 0.8. So that's 80%. So 80% of the time we're going to get one of these colours, pink, green, blue. So that means that 20% of the time, or 0.2, we'll get yellow. So we take that away from our 1, because remember 1 represents 100%, and we end up with 0.2. So that will go into here, okay? To work out the number of blue counters, all we're going to do is we're going to take out the 40 counters in the bag and we're going to times it by 0.2, okay? And if we do that, we can do that on a calculator, we'll end up with 8. So 0.2 goes in there and we have 8 there. Okay, if we ever want to find out, we know 20% of the counters are, 20% of 40 counters is 8. Now it's time for the quiz, everyone. You've been looking forward to this all day. I've tried to keep it nice and simple for you. Good luck. Give it a go. Come back and see if you've got it right. Here we go. This is the biggest moment of the day. Let's go. Hopefully you have worked out the value of x by adding all those decimals together and taking them away from 1. We ended up with 75% of the time the spinner would land on either a 2, 3, 4 or 5. You took that away from 100% or 1 and you ended up with 0.25. So well done if you've got that correct. I understand for some of you that might be a little bit of a stretch, so go back, watch the video a few times, make sure you use your calculator, make sure that you tap in all the different numbers, all the different spaces, so make sure you put in 0.05 there, just make sure you get it correct. But anyway, as always, it's been a pleasure helping you with your maths today. Hopefully you feel more confident. Confidence brings results, so I will see you on the flip side.